they just look, you can see, they're just such a nice color. I think that looks very comfortable, and they've got the nice kind of little branding for like the Cozy Island there on the heel, which is a nice little touch, but not too over the top. Hello again, sweet darlings. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then let me introduce myself. My name is Elizabeth. I am a mom of two and a stepmom of two girls, so 4 girls in our house in total, homemaking in the English countryside, and I make weekly videos here all about femininity and encouraging you on that path wherever you are on that journey. So if that sounds like good to you, the kind of content that you would like, then please do stick around and subscribe. But today I want to give a bit of encouragement to moms out there who are feeling a little bit like they don't know what to do with their style. Their life has changed, maybe because they've had another baby, maybe they've had their first baby, maybe their body has changed. Often when we have children, the amount of time we have obviously to get ready changes, the activities that we're doing changes, so our wardrobe also needs to adjust, and I think this can be very difficult. It's something that often people don't talk to you about. There's just kind of the general stereotype that you are going to be in stretchy pants the whole time. Obviously you can get away with it if you're at home, you can be in joggers, but I think at some point that kind of gets to you. It gets to you that maybe your clothes from before you had a baby or before your life changed, they don't fit you, they don't suit you anymore, and that can kind of bring you down. And you want to feel joyful when you're being a mom. You want to feel joyful when you're doing those homemaking tasks, but also feel elegant, feel stylish, and feel put together. Certainly this has been a journey for me. I've been a mom now for about 3.5 years, and I have been a stepmom for almost 7. So, you know, over time, kind of clothes that used to suit me and used to suit the life that I was living when I was working an office job, those are no longer appropriate. But I have very recently revamped my wardrobe, and I want to share kind of some of those tips and things that I discovered with you, because I think it might help empower you as well to go out, treat yourself to some things that really suit your life, really make you feel beautiful. There is no reason why as stay-at-home moms we can't feel beautiful and stylish and put together, whether we're staying at home, whether we're taking our kids to the library, cooking. You can feel beautiful and feminine while doing all of those things. You don't need to be in stretchy pants. So without further ado, I want to share some tips with you. I want to show you some outfits. I want to show you some kind of key pieces that I think are worth investing in or saving on, as the case may be, depending on your budget. But let me just show you some things that I have found working for me as a mom of 2 and a stepmom of 2 in my life, feeling kind of beautiful and put together. And it didn't take me more than like 5 minutes to be put together this morning. So without further ado, let's jump in. Okay, so my first tip that I want to share with you about feeling comfortable and elegant when you're at home as a mom is consider wearing skirts and dresses. Now, I know that this might seem crazy because you probably have this idea that skirts and dresses are just too much hassle, and they're kind of old-fashioned and they're not practical. Everybody wears jeans and trousers when they're running around after kids. But let me let you in on a little secret. The lovely thing about skirts and dresses, well, there's 2 things. First thing is with a dress, that is your outfit. So you don't need to worry about a t-shirt and trousers to go together. You don't even need to worry about a cardigan, perhaps, if you're wearing a long sleeve dress. That can be your whole outfit. Also, I have found there is nothing that makes me kind of feel more beautiful than a dress or a skirt, especially one that is loose fitting, or a little bit looser fitting, because you get a lot of movement. Your clothing moves with you, and that can feel kind of very feminine and elegant in itself. The other benefit to wearing skirts and dresses is that actually I found after I had my first baby, I, like you maybe, I was desperate to get back into jeans. I was like, I want my body back. I want to get back into my jeans. That was kind of like a goal for me. And then when I got into my jeans, I realized that actually, even with a baby, even with a newborn, you are up and down off of your knees a lot. And you're kind of bending, maybe you're carrying them on you. And I was wearing a baby carrier where it really kind of cut into where the jeans were sitting on my hips. So I actually kind of had to switch to wearing the few kind of dresses and skirts that I had at that point, because the waistband of the jeans was just so uncomfortable for me. Also, since then, I have occasionally bought like a pair of jeans. I thought maybe I'll go back to wearing jeans. But really, when you're bending, there's nothing more lovely than having the extra room around your legs, kind of the nice breeze around your legs. It just feels kind of much easier to move. And even actually like run around after kids. I wear them full time now, and it doesn't stop me from going on the trampoline. It doesn't stop me from gardening with my daughters, baking. There's pretty much everything that you can do in jeans or trousers or leggings, you can do in a skirt and a dress. So that's the first tip. As part of that tip, what I would say is these are some of my favorite things that I own, and I'll just show you one of them and I'll show you an outfit with it later, is skirts with an elasticated waist. I've talked about this in other videos. Generally speaking, I am a big fan of this. I think it's a wonderful thing it's kind of like a quick and easy win. You don't need to be uncomfortable. I actually don't buy any skirts anymore that kind of have a non-elasticated waist. And that's not because my weight is now going up and down, but it's because it's just so much more comfortable. If you're feeling a little bit bloated, if you get pregnant again, you have that little bit of extra space. If you're still carrying a little bit of extra weight, often people aren't going to notice. If you've got a lovely kind of high-waisted skirt where the elastic, is tucking you in, it's giving you a lovely bit of a waist, you can tuck a t-shirt in, and that's sorted. You look feminine, you look elegant, but you're comfortable. And I think that's key. Also, skirts with pockets. This actually does have pockets. So although this is a very kind of like elegant, perhaps even a going out skirt, it has pockets, which is very practical when you're a mom. So that's kind of another part of that tip. Okay, so the second tip I have for feeling comfortable and also beautiful and elegant and put together as a mom is simplifying your beauty routine. Now, I know that for some of you this will seem like a big task, but the truth is that for most of us when we have children, regardless of how difficult or involved our beauty routine was before, we're going to have to pare it down in some way. So I would just like to kind of build that expectation in. Maybe some of you who are watching this who haven't yet had your baby, or maybe you're going from 1 till 2, things get busier. And that's part of the beauty of motherhood, but it does mean that things like kind of time to ourselves to be doing lots of makeup or complicated beauty routines, we might not have that time. So I just want to show you kind of what I use for my beauty routine in the morning. It's really, really simple. Again, this has taken me a little bit of experimentation for what works for my skin, what feels manageable, and kind of the level of effort that is appropriate or feels right for me. I have, for a lot of the time that I've been a mom, I haven't been wearing makeup. And to be honest, I usually only put on a little bit of concealer if kind of my spots are bad, if my hormones are flaring up. But I have found that even just taking that extra 3 minutes to put a little bit of mascara on, put a tinted lip balm on, which is what I'm wearing, and a bit of concealer if I'm having a bad skin day, that really kind of lifts me. And every time I catch a look of myself in the mirror during the day, I think, oh, okay, you look nice. Maybe you're having a bad moment, but you still look good, and that's kind of a nice feeling, especially like when my husband comes back from whatever he's been doing, or like I open the door to a neighbor. It's a nice feeling to kind of feel put together in that way as well. So literally all that I'm using in the mornings is I do curl my eyelashes a little bit. That was something that I discovered very late on in my life, but it makes a difference. That's why people use them. I just use a black mascara. I've got kind of an organic concealer stick because I've never really worn full foundation, so I feel that this is enough. I just put a little bit under my eyes and like all my spots and kind of under my chin just to even out my skin tone a little bit. I love these tinted lip balms. I can link them underneath. They're an organic, again, lip balm. I find that they keep my lips nice and moisturized. They come in a range of different colors. And yeah, I like the tints as well. And then I'm just using actually a blush that I bought when I got married. I know that you're not supposed to keep makeup that long, but it's Chanel. So there's still lots of blush left in this. So I do put a little bit of that on as well, although as we get into summer, I might not. Right now, my skin has been very dry, so I've actually been using castor oil on my face and on my body. I started out using it on my eyebrows, and I found that makes a really big difference. And little things like that can also kind of boost your self-esteem, I think, when you're a new mom. Like, you need to look after yourself, but do it in a manageable way. So, do get some nice body cream, even if you only have an extra 2 to 3 minutes to actually put it on, compared to say like an hour in a bubble bath that you might have had previously. It's still worth doing. It's still worth moisturizing. Do those things for yourself, even if maybe you're doing it kind of in stages. Maybe you need to go and feed a baby and then you come back to moisturizing. Just make sure that you've got some products that work for your skin, ideally, organic or things that aren't filled with harsh chemicals as well, and just kind of replenish your skin a little bit so that even if you don't have time to do your makeup, you are feeling kind of moisturized, your skin feels comfortable. And yeah, that helps with feeling comfortable and beautiful as well if you're a stay-at-home mom. Okay, so a third tip for you is to invest in or save on, as the case may be. I'm going to show you a couple of different examples. Shoes that you find comfortable. In my life, I actually spend a lot of my time not in shoes because we're in the house, and often if we're in the garden, I'm not wearing shoes. And to be honest, the shoes I wear most are my welly boots because we live in the countryside and we're off on a lot of dog walks and adventures. But we do go to church. I take my kids to the library. We go out food shopping. So you need some comfy shoes that are practical for when you're going out, but don't necessarily compromise on style. So I'm going to show you a pair that I recently bought myself, and then I'm going to show you a couple of pairs that I have been sent, which I'm really excited to start wearing with some of my new clothes since I've kind of revamped my wardrobe. So I'll show you the little pumps first. So these are just some kind of silver leather pumps. I did do my colors recently. I did my own kind of color analysis and got rid of all of the clothes and shoes that weren't in my colors because I really want to have my closet put together. So this was a pair that I treated myself to. I've worn them out for lunch. I've worn them to church. They're very, very comfortable, and they have just a little bit of grip at the bottom. That's something I would say is if you're kind of running around after kids or maybe it's wet weather, you want to make sure that your footwear has a little bit of grip so that you're not slipping around and you're able to kind of catch your kids just fine. I have been sent 2 pairs, which is very exciting. I've been sent 2 pairs by a brand called Cozy Island. They reached out to ask whether they could send me some shoes. And it's funny because I've been revamping my wardrobe, and never in my life, I'm quite tall, so I'm 5'9". Never in my life have I really invested in heels or found heels that were comfortable. I think there's been one pair in my entire life that I wore when I was doing an internship actually that I could wear every day and I found them comfortable. And since then I've kind of dabbled. I've thought, well, this outfit really needs black heels. So I've kind of like bought black heels or I've bought white heels for summer, and I've never found anything that was comfortable. So when this brand reached out to me, I looked at their range and I thought, oh, these look like really great everyday heels. And the whole selling point of them is that they kind of are a little bit stretchy, so the fabric is a bit stretchy, and they're supposed to have really nice cushioned soles. So I want to show these to you now. You can see they kind of come in a nice box. I like the color. Let me show you the first pair. And these are mules, which I would never usually buy, but I liked the color of these, and I wanted something neutral to go with some dresses for spring. So these, look at those, look super nice. So they feel like very light, which is nice for your feet. And again, this is flexible, which is really lovely. I like the buckle, that's quite eye-catching. But I feel like these would look quite cute with jeans. So that's actually how I'm going to try them on. I know that I just said that I don't own any jeans, so I'm going to borrow a pair of jeans from my stepdaughter's closet. Hopefully they will forgive me, because I feel like that would look cute, and I just want to show you how that would look because I think that would be a nice way to style it, or with kind of a spring summer dress. And again, you can see there's so much padding in these shoes. I can really like push my thumb down quite a bit, and that is key for comfort, I think, especially if you're standing while you're at church or you're standing because you're out and about with kids pushing a pram. I don't see why these wouldn't be comfortable. They feel really, really nice. So I'm going to try these on. Okay, so these are called Grace Life pointed low heel mules. Again, I've gone for a low heel version because I'm quite a tall person already, and these do feel really, really comfortable. So already I can kind of feel there's quite a bit of cushioning. There's a nice amount of space for my feet, which is always nice in a heel because when you get hot, when it's a hot day, obviously your feet can expand. So because I'm planning on wearing these in kind of spring and summer, I don't want to feel already too confined within these shoes. Also, interestingly, I've just noticed, I think kind of back here, which is quite unique for a mule actually, there's a little bit, I'll try to show you, there's a little bit of a lip, which I didn't really notice before here. So that's going to be nice because often when you're wearing a mule or a sandal, your heel can kind of slip out, and I feel like that is going to help to keep your foot snug and secure within that shoe without kind of compromising on the style. So let me just put that on again for you. Yeah, so you can see there's kind of like a little bit of a lip at the back, which is really, really nice. So I'm happy with these. Okay, so I know that I've told you that I don't have any jeans, but I'm lucky that my stepdaughters and I are pretty much the same size. Okay, this is kind of convincing me that maybe I do need to get a pair of jeans just to go with these shoes, because that looks so cute. I'll show you down here. Just feel like that looks so nice, like with a little handbag for town. Again, it kind of is understated, but it's still nice to feel like you're wearing a heel. You're not just wearing trainers. And I do feel, I can feel every time I kind of take a step, there's a bit of a, I'm sinking in there to that cushion, which is such a nice feeling. So I've showed you the elasticated skirt again. This is a skirt that I actually used to wear to church, but I think that you could get away with this if you were just going into town with the cardigan. It kind of makes it a little bit more casual. But again, these shoes look nice with it. They kind of take it up to the next level because of the buckle. Again, I think it's just about, finding a few pieces that you really love, and then also being realistic about the kind of pieces that you need. We do need comfortable shoes in the same way that, you need a bag that holds all of your stuff when you have a baby. But that doesn't mean that you have to compromise on style. You can be comfortable and still stylish. That doesn't mean agonizing over trends. That means kind of finding a style that suits you in your life and makes you feel beautiful. There's no reason why we can't kind of feel beautiful as moms, especially because it's such a beautiful thing that we are doing, being a mom and pouring our love into somebody else. So feeling beautiful while you're doing that, I think, is a lovely kind of gift to give to yourself. The black ones. So I chose a pair of like black heels, which I'll show you. Oh, they look so elegant. Look at that. So I just love the shape, and I think it's very unique, kind of like this knitted fabric. I haven't seen anything like this before. And although I don't have wide feet and I don't have bunions, these are supposed to be great for people who do have those, because it just gives you that extra bit of stretch. And that is one of the issues with high heels, obviously, is that, it's quite rigid, and then your toe kind of gets shoved down there and it can be quite uncomfortable. So these look like they're going to be beautiful and comfortable. I've actually never had such a nice black high heel. That looks super cute. Okay, we'll get the other one out. Yeah, so they just look, you can see, they're just such a nice color. I think that looks very comfortable, and they've got the nice kind of little branding for like the cozy island there on the heel, which is a nice little touch, but not too over the top. And you can kind of see here already how it looks like there's quite a bit of cushioning. Oh yeah. Yeah, so you can see it's kind of quite squishy, and that looks like they're going to be really comfortable. Okay. So as you can see here, these are looking very nice with this skirt. Super elegant. So this is something that you could potentially, wear to the office if that was something that you were doing. Obviously, I'm at home, but I have to say, just having had these on for a few minutes, I'm very surprised. They actually genuinely feel comfortable from the get-go. Often you can put heels on and you know that they're kind of going to pinch already, but these feel so grown up. That sounds like a funny thing to say, but it's true. And so these are the Commute Elegance heel. I chose them in black. This is actually the low-heeled version. They do come with a slightly higher heel as well if you liked that, but as I'm quite tall already, I didn't want to go for a really high heel. So these would be perfect if you're going into the office. And I'm going to wear these for church. I think these would look really great with just black tights when I'm going to church, or just like this actually for a warmer day without tights. They look nice with this skirt. Maybe they look nice with some of my other dresses as well. So I'm really happy with these. I probably will try kind of wearing them around the house a little bit and just see how they feel. But so far I can feel that there is a lot of cushioning underneath my feet, which is so nice. This is a little bit more of a kind of going out special occasion outfit, or if you're going to the office, then this is something that would work. Please excuse the sound of my chickens in the background. Our bedroom is right next to the chicken coop, so someone has laid an egg, so that's the background noise, and the cockerel telling me that it's morning time. I know. But I like this this outfit. It's kind of like a long elegant dress with the black heels, and this is kind of a tip number 4, I suppose, is when you are a mom, you might not have the time to be constantly shopping. So spending the time at whatever point on your journey, it's never too late. Like, I've been a mom for 3.5 years, and literally in the last couple of months, I have, as I said, I have gotten rid of 90% of my clothes, and I have filled my closet with less clothes, but things that I love and things that suit me in my colors and things that are quality pieces. So it's never too late to kind of revamp your style and reinvent yourself a little bit once you get into that role of mom and your new life. It takes some time, so do be patient with yourself. And while you're on that process of picking some new clothes, do have a few things that are good quality pieces. Doesn't mean that everything has to be good quality pieces. I buy a lot of stuff from charity shops. I buy a lot of stuff that I kind of know is going to be, good for a season. But I like the style. I want to try the style, and it's okay if I wear it like every single week for the next year, and then I need to replace it. I'm at peace with that. But I do try to, for stuff like my coats, I try to buy wool. In the UK, we don't have super cold winters, but you do want something that's going to keep you warm, because I found when you are a mom and you're looking after your kids, you don't really want to be distracted by the fact that you're too cold or you're uncomfortable or you don't feel put together. So, we've talked a lot about kind of, working on how to get yourself put together and making that manageable. But also, when you're out and about, you want to be dressed appropriately. You want to be kind of dressed for the season. So stuff like, a wool coat, which is still fashionable. It goes with lots of different things. This black coat I wear with a lot of different things. Stuff like that is a good thing to get into your closet when you're a mom. Just something that you can throw on regardless of what you are wearing. This helps me to feel put together. Obviously, when I'm going to church and it's wintertime, I would wear it tied up like this, and then it doesn't really matter what I'm wearing underneath, but I feel that this coat in itself is a stylish piece and it suits me to an extent that I'm happy with. So stuff like this is useful to kind of also feel beautiful, even if you spend your time at church running around after toddlers who want to do anything but listen at church. But I'll show you how these heels look with this coat as well. I really love these black heels. I think I'm going to really enjoy wearing them. So I'll just show you. Yeah, I really love these. I think that they're going to be super, super lovely for church and date nights maybe. And obviously not the kind of thing that you want to think about, but if there was a funeral, I would have appropriate black shoes, or an evening party, because often black shoes do go with a large variety of dresses, especially the ones that I own now. So I think that with these 3 pairs of shoes that I've showed you, that is going to be great for kind of feeling more put together going forward. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for tuning into this video. I really appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me a little bit and talk about mom life and trying to get to a place where we feel beautiful and elegant and still comfortable as moms. Please just remember that what you're doing, regardless of what you're wearing, is incredibly important. And if you spend the first 5-10 years of your motherhood experience, or 5 months, or whatever the case may be, in joggers, but you're pouring your love and your energy and your attention into those kids, that is the greatest gift. So please don't feel that because I have showed you a few pieces that I've recently invested in that you need to go off and go shopping. Take your time. As I said, this has taken me quite a few years since I became a mom, and even before, when I was a stepmom, of figuring out my style, figuring out what suits me. And also, if you love the shoes that I have been wearing in this video, I have a discount code for you. So if you'd like to go and purchase a pair of shoes from Cozy Island, which I would recommend that you do if you're wanting some great kind of everyday heels that are actually comfortable, depending on your style. You can wear them to church, you can wear them out and about, wear them on date nights with your husband, or just have a good pair of heels that are actually comfortable for special occasions. I will drop that discount code into the description box below as well, so I hope you'll go and check out their range. They do also have some very nice sparkly heels and some really nice brightly colored heels. I didn't choose those because they're not going to go with my colors that suit me or my wardrobe. But if you want something a little bit more funky, they do those. They also do boots, and they do trainers, and they do sandals. So there's quite a big range there for you to go and have a little look at if you're so inclined. But I hope that you'll bear these tips in mind. I hope that you feel a little bit of encouragement, that you can still feel very beautiful and elegant as a mom. And I hope that I see you again soon for another video. But in the meantime, take good care, everybody, and God bless.